Hi guys, I'm Manali and this is my YouTube video channel Medical Romance. Please hit the like button and subscribe us for more interesting videos. So today our topic is gonna be the external carotid artery. So let us begin. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you from where the right and left external carotid arteries originate because they have different origins. So let me draw the arch of aorta first. So if this is the arch of aorta, from the arch of aorta rises three important arteries, and those will be, the first one is the brachiocephalic trunk. I will write BCT, and then we will have the left common carotid artery, and finally we will have the left subclavian artery. And if we look at the brachiocephalic trunk gives rise to the right subclavian artery and the right common carotid artery. So, right common carotid artery. Now, if we take a look at the right and left common carotid arteries, they give rise to the external and the internal carotid arteries. So, here we will have the left external carotid artery and left internal carotid artery, and from the right one, we will have the right external carotid artery and the right internal carotid artery. So hope that is clear for you. And now, before talking about the branches of the external carotid artery, we have to divide all the branches into 4 specific groups. So let me write the groups first. The first will be the anterior group of branches. Now they are based on the location. Anterior group of branches. Then we will have the central group of branches, and then the posterior group of branches, and finally the terminal group of branches. So now let us look at the anterior group of branches. So before that, I should tell you, here we have the aorta, and so here if we take that this is the brachiocephalic trunk, we will have the right subclavian artery and the right common carotid artery. Okay, I should tell you, the common carotid arteries bifurcates at the level of the superior margin of the thyroid cartilage. Now this is the thyroid cartilage, so it will bifurcate at the superior margin of the thyroid cartilage and will give rise to the internal carotid artery and the external carotid artery. So I will draw the external carotid artery. Okay, and here we have the internal carotid artery, and this is the external carotid artery. Okay, now let us look at the anterior group of branches. So I will use green color for that. The first branch will be the superior thyroid artery. So we have the superior thyroid artery, which is going to give blood supply. We have thyroid gland here, thyroid cartilage, so the structures present there. And from the superior thyroid artery begins the superior laryngeal artery, which is going to give the blood supply to the cricothyroid muscle. And then we will look at the second branch that belongs to the anterior group, that will be the lingual artery. So first I have to draw to the tongue, and we will have the lingual artery. Now lingual artery, we'll write LA, will also give branches that will give blood supply to the dorsum linguae and then the more deeper parts of the tongue and the sublingual glands. So here we will have arteria dorsalis linguae and arteria profunda linguae, and then we will have the sublingual arteries giving blood supply to the sublingual gland. And then the final branch of the anterior group will be the facial artery. So I will take another green color for that. And the facial artery will give the first branch, that is arteria palatina ascendens, the ascending palatine artery. And then on its way it will give branches to the submandibular glands. So you can call them rami glandularis. And also actually it will give blood supply to the tonsilla. So we have ramus tonsillaris, and those are very small branches. And then it will give the submental artery. I will write arteria submentalis, or the submental artery is MA. And then it will give the inferior and the superior labial artery that will give blood supply to the upper and lower lips correspondingly. So we will have the superior labial artery and the inferior labial artery. And then the facial artery will continue as the angular artery. So this is the angular artery. Okay, now hope that is clear. So this was the third branch from the anterior group. So those are the anterior branches. And now we will look at the central group of branches. I will use blue color for that. Actually there is only one, and that will be arteria pharyngea ascendens. Now here we had arteria palatina ascendens coming from the facial artery, but this is arteria pharyngea ascendens, ascending pharyngeal artery. And then we will look at the posterior group of branches. Let me take purple color. And here in the neck we will have the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So I will draw it like this. So the external carotid artery will give blood supply to the sternocleidomastoid muscle, so that you can call it arteria sternocleidomastoidea. And then it will also give arteria occipitalis, the occipital artery. We'll write OA. And then we will have the posterior auricular artery. Okay, and those are the posterior branches. Then we should take a look at the terminal group of branches. So here we will have two branches, and they are the maxillary artery and the external carotid artery will continue as the superficial temporal artery. So superficial temporal artery, and then on its way it will give branches to the parotid gland, which we have here. So you can call it rami parotidae, and then it will give the anterior auricular artery, okay, and then finally it will terminate as the frontal and parietal ramus. So frontal ramus and parietal ramus. To be more precise, this parietal ramus will make an anastomose with the occipital artery, and frontal ramus will also make anastomosis, but then that is with the internal carotid artery. To be more precise, here we have arteria supraorbitalis and supratrochlearis from the internal carotid artery, and the frontal ramus will make anastomosis with them. So these are the main branches of the external carotid artery. Now let us take a quick look at the anatomy atlas. Okay, here we have the external carotid artery. So let us begin. This is the common carotid artery, and it will bifurcate into the internal carotid artery and the external carotid artery. And from the external carotid artery, if you look at the anterior branches, here I have spotted from light blue color, we have the superior thyroid artery, and from superior thyroid artery arises the superior laryngeal artery. Okay, and then we will have the facial artery. So this is the facial artery, and then on its way it will give rise to the ascending palatine artery and ramus tonsillaris, and it will give branches to the submandibular gland, and then it will continue as the submental artery, and it will also give arteria labialis inferior labial artery and the superior labial artery, and finally will continue as the angular artery. And then here we have the sublingual artery, but then that is not very clear. And as I already told you, it will give the arteria dorsalis linguae, arteria profunda linguae, and branches to the sublingual gland. And then we will look at the central group. Here we have spotted from yellow color, that is arteria pharyngea ascendens. And then we will look at the posterior branches. Here we have arteria auricularis posterior, and here we have arteria occipitalis and Okay, our artery auricularis posterior, it is going behind the ear. Okay, here we have the occipital artery. And then finally, if we look at the terminal group of branches, here we have the maxillary artery and the superficial temporal artery. And maxillary artery, I have done a separate video, please watch it. And here from the superficial temporal artery, it gives ramus frontalis and the parietal ramus. Parietal ramus will make anastomosis with the occipital artery, and ramus frontalis, you can see it is making anastomosis with the supraorbital and supratrochlear artery. So those are the main branches of the external carotid artery. So hope everything is clear for you. Please like and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.